You've landed inside the bubble with Harli G, a podcast for the superwoman. I am a mother, wife, and ambitious career woman who realized one day that part of me was unfulfilled. I launched this platform to help other women discover and walk in their ultimate purpose through shared stories of trials, fear, dreams, courage, grief, and triumph. No matter who you are or where you're from, there's purpose in your story. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harli G is sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Therapy has been such an integral part of my purpose journey, and I'm sure it will benefit your journey as well. Go to BetterHelp, that is betterhelp.com/inside the bubble to get started. This episode is also brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you've reviewed your insurance policy? Like who does that? Or when was the last time you could call your insurance agent directly with an emergency? Well, I was actually able to do that. 2 years ago, my garage caught on fire, and I was able to pick up the phone and talk to the one and only Austin Brummett on the phone immediately. There's nothing like peace of mind knowing that you are talking directly to the agent. So my friends at the Austin Brummett Agency would love to hear from you and provide you with the same amazing service that they provided me. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. Lastly, are you thinking about buying a car but dreading the process? I will tell you that's why I have a husband, so he can handle all of that. But Car Official is changing the game. Car Official believes the car buying process should be transparent, informative, and even, wait for it, enjoyable. Their experts are here to guide you, provide you with clear information and honest advice. No fancy jargon, no pressure, just a helping hand every step of the way. Whether it's understanding your financing options, getting clarity on fees, or simply finding the perfect car for your needs, they've got you covered. Visit them today and see the difference for yourself at 770-627-4296 or at www.carofficial.net. Welcome, insiders, to another episode of season 3 of Inside the Bubble with Harli G. I am your host, Harli G, and today I am with the amazing, so wise, oh so great Dr. Nedra Buckmire. I want to make sure that I give you credit, honey. Okay? So we are here with Dr. Nedra Buckmire today, and we're going to continue this conversation that we have been having in season 3 about purpose and faith. And I know that you operate in the ministry of women of faith. You have an amazing relationship with the Most High God. And so I was like, what a better person to have on the pod than Nedra. So if you could take just a few minutes, Nedra, to kind of introduce yourself, tell our listeners what you do, that would be great.
Well, it is an honor again to be a part of the amazing Inside the Bubble with Harli G podcast. You've done an amazing job in evolving, even from the time that I was on maybe a couple of years ago. So congratulations to you in that regard. And thank you. Thank you for having me back, because one thing I realized that no one has to invite you to share, to speak a word, to anything. So thank you for that. But a little about me. I am a woman, of course, a woman of faith. And what does that mean? A woman of, I believe God Elohim, the Most High, and have committed my life to Him and helping others in that same regard. So I am a certified master life coach. I am a mentor. I pastor alongside of my husband, Spirit and Truth International Worship Center. That, my goodness, has been coming up on 19 years in November. And it has been a journey, an absolute journey,
Oh, 19.
an
I'm
absolute
married
journey.
years.
It's a journey. And yes, it
I
really
feel
is.
like
I
there's a
am,
little bit more to it. That
girl, listen.
you're like,
It's the absolute truth. The absolute. I am a passionate individual wanting to help others. When I think about my life and how I've evolved into the woman that I am, three areas really stand out to me, whether I'm speaking in a corporate space, holding a workshop, holding an empowerment encounter for women, which is an area of passion and a call, or if I'm speaking in my local church or just at a women's conference, wherever it is that I fully believe that I've been a call to inspire hope, to ignite passions, and to help others to rewrite their futures. So those are, no matter those varied areas that I mentioned that I serve in and that I function in, that's me in a nutshell. I am a lover of people. I love to travel. I've had the amazing opportunity to travel internationally for several years. One of the first international missions trip that I went on was in Cambodia, and that was in 2016. So I've been there 5 times, and the amazing relationships that I have cultivated with the women of Cambodia and how we've mentored them for several years, and seeing them when I first met them, they were desiring husbands. Now they're married and have children, and we still stay in contact. And I am the executive director for Ravens Hope Mentor Program. And we right now are in a series of changing some things. So the program is not active this year, but we'll be launching back next year. So we launched, it was either 2 or 3 years. I think it's been 3 years. So that's me. It's always inspiring and helping others really to kind of see what they really, it's already functioning within them, their gifts, their kind of talents and abilities. But a lot of times we're looking outside of ourselves when it's from within us. And so that's kind of me in a nutshell. I am a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend, and an encourager.
Mhm. Wow, that was an amazing reflection of who you really the essence of Nedra and who you are. And when you say you really are that person that can to have the ability to bring out that purpose, that faith, to change some to bring that out because it's already within us, right?
Yes.
God created us that way, but to have the ability to bring it out of someone,
Yeah.
to bring that to light, that's amazing. And that's one of the reasons why I love coaching so much too, is because
Yes.
you're not waving a magic wand here. You're
Mm-mm.
literally pulling something out of somebody that's already there.
You already possess it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And um we go way back.
We
And
do.
I mean, wow, okay, wait, 2000. We go way back. I'm not even gonna try to
We
count.
do. I can't even remember the year, but it's years.
It's been like
With an
with a
S.
Z. Years with a Z. Not with an S, with a Z. Oh, I wanna get right into it because I know how we are. This could be a
Yes.
2-hour conversation. So
Yes.
for the sake of my production manager not coming after me, I'm gonna try to keep it kosher.
Yes.
What do you feel is your purpose when it comes to serving others? And I think you touched a little bit on it
Mhm.
just a few minutes ago, but to talk to our listeners more about that.
Okay. Well, in serving others, that is really one of the areas that I've committed my life to. Um, First, before serving others, I believe that the individual that is endeavoring to serve and to lift and to encourage, that they should make sure that they within and of themselves, that they are a whole, that they are have the the ability to be able to see it through to the end, meaning that, making sure that your mental space is always I would say, either purged or you check on it, that you have some self check-ins. And a lot of people are talking about self-care as it relates to an individual. And I think that it's important because we need to remember that we are the individuals that are carrying, the call, the gift. And if there are, things within us that, may need to be tweaked, then it can end up being, and I'll use the word tainted. It can be it may not be from a pure place. Let's put it that way. Or it, can have some baggage or things attached to it. Whereas if you kind of, be able to focus in and say, wait a minute, something's that's not right. So first, we have to lead ourselves. We have to lead ourselves, right? Absolutely, in spirit, soul, and body, all of the above, be able to lead yourself. And then how I serve others. I earnestly believe that, like I mentioned a little bit in my introduction, that these three areas for me, inspiring hope and igniting passions and helping people to rewrite futures, whether I'm speaking, coaching, facilitating a workshop, or sharing wisdom, or just talking with other individuals. Those areas are, I would say, the foundation of how I endeavor to show up and help others. So I come in contact with individuals who have dormant places of, whether it's dreams or even gifts, talents, and abilities. When something is dormant, it means it's been arrested in its development. So something has stopped it, whether it's a life situation, limiting beliefs, something has halted it. And being able to speak to that, speak life to that, speak hope to that, because we have people who have just lost hope. They don't have an expectation. There's like, because that's what hope is. It's something that you're looking forward to, that you're believing in. So inspiring hope within them again, and then igniting their passion, causing a fire to just like, yes, yes. And so you're at that point when you're ignited, you're wanting to do and act, and not even in the moment, it goes beyond the moment, because it's something that now you feel that you can attribute, you can help. And so it begins to
live without it. Like there's absolutely no way from that moment on that you will not be able to live without using the skill, whatever this is. Like it's unthinkable. That you will continue to operate without it.
Yes, absolutely. And then the other area is rewriting their futures, because if their hope had not been restored, if they did not begin to take action with moving forward in their passions and the things that they love, then they would probably take road A, right? So if they come in contact with me and how I'm serving them and helping them to, see some things a little clearer, then their future is rewritten so they can take road B, which is really ultimately where they should be traveling along. So that's how I serve others.
Wow. Okay, I got chill bumps. Because that hope piece is absolutely the catalyst, right? It's like you just mentioned, you said, if somebody doesn't have hope, what do they have?
Yeah.
They don't have that they don't even have that expectations. They're not even gonna try. They're not even gonna dare even think about the possibilities, what they could do, which they already have it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a limited belief, there's an assumption, there's a something blocking that, or an experience, something that experienced in the past. It could be as simple as a word. Or a sentence that someone spoke to you that can absolutely block you. And one of the things that happened to me while I was in college, I had aspirations of becoming in front of an actress, or I had aspiration to become a host. But
imagine
that, like, what? Who would have thunk it? And I began taking my major classes, and the very first class that I took was Intro to Radio. and we had to write a segment in that class. That was going to be our final exam. Wrote my segment, presented it to the class. I passed the exam, but then the teacher came to me and pulled me, and she said, "You know what, Harli? You should really think about going in the field because you have an accent, and I just don't know if that's going to work out for you."
No.
Yes. And guess what I did? I went to the career office, switched my career to public relations.
Oh.
I stayed in communications, but I switched it because of one limited belief that someone of and now look at me here, look at me now. It took someone, it took the word, it took faith, it took other to pour to tear down that limited belief that I had for me to be doing it now.
Yes.
So when you say that, and when you keep doing that for others, know that you are truly doing the work of God. Okay, you're really walking in your purpose. But and you know what? I don't even know if I know this, but how did you discover your purpose?
Well, my purpose actually discovered me.
I like that.
And let me kind of unpack it just a little bit. I know we have a short amount of time, so I'll condense it. The area of mentoring women and even becoming a certified master life coach, it started out several years, I think maybe in 2013, 2014.
I feel like I remember when you started going on that path.
Yeah, when I started taking classes and things like that. What ended up happening was there were just women who kept reaching out to me. I had not officially mentored anyone. But what I was doing, I was ministering, of course, ministering at different ministries and churches and things like that. And they either saw me there or heard me there, and then they just started like reaching out to me, either emailing or texting me saying, "Can you mentor me?" And I'm thinking, what? Honestly, I was like, I have never mentored anyone. I just had not. But it was obviously the way I was showing up in authenticity and earnestness. It just began to morph into this, the life that I live now, understanding that there is it's a call, it's a passion, it's a desire to see, especially women free, because I know what it's like to be without hope. Absolutely know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel like I can see something and I can desire it, but in and of myself, I did not have the confidence, I just didn't have it at that point to be able to go. I was like, oh, that would be something nice. Similar to what you just said about what the woman said to you and made you change your trajectory of what you wanted to do. So that's how they just started reaching out to me. And I was like, wow, all these women, what is all of this? And me wanting to give them the absolute best of who I was and, just wanted to do that. That's what started my journey on, looking into coaching programs. Now, coaching and mentoring are two different things.
They are.
Absolutely. But I was like, I felt like I needed something else to give them. And one of the things I remember my husband saying to me, he said, I can see you because you're wanting to do the absolute best. That's just kind of who you are. But he said, did you ever think for a moment that they reached out to you because of what you already possessed? I was like, what? Okay. So that was very profound. And it wasn't like I was showing up really for others to see.
Yes.
I was showing up authentically. Yes. And when you show up authentically, you undoubtedly draw people to yourself, that I believe that are, I use the word calibrated, but the cadence of your message, your voice, and what it is that you carry, it speaks to them. And that's what happened. And so as I began to kind of lean in and mentor the women, it just kind of began to morph and turned into, doing mentoring sessions with individuals, then ultimately going to coaching enrolled in a coaching program, and that was like school, honey. You had papers and reading weekly, peer coach, honey. It was a whole situation. I didn't go online and get a certificate. Okay, I went to classes by a certified organization. Okay. So yes, and that's kind of how it morphed to this. And then when you begin to do, you begin to see, oh my goodness, this is an area where, oh my goodness, I may need to stay in and to function in. And so that's kind of how really purpose found me, being able to, because I don't think that understanding what purpose is, it is the reason that something exists. So do I believe that I only exist to mentor and coach women? No, I do believe that those 3 areas and foundational areas, and of course they may have, tentacles that branch out.
Yep.
But at the core, that is how it found me, because it's within me, right? I didn't go out there and search for it. It was within me. And when I began to activate it and walk in it, it just began to draw more, more women.
Yeah. It's like when you're operating in that ultimate frequency, you resonate with other individuals that are also in that frequency. So when you're attracting these people, when they're drawn to you, and why? Because you're on the same frequency. You're operating in that, you're walking in that journey, in that purpose. So wow. So I love it. Purpose found you. Okay. All right. And switching gears a little, not really switching gears a little bit, because we know that the purpose comes from him, right? So does faith mean to you? What does that mean?
Yes. You said your question was, what does faith
mean to you?
Well, it is a very integral, important part of my life. Well, faith in and of itself is the confidence or trust, to believe in something or someone, right? And from being a woman of faith and actual ordained minister and pastor, that plays a critical role in how I show up in faith, and no matter where it is I am, because I don't separate myself if I'm in the corporate arena. Yes, the content may be different. It may not be Bible verse and, teaching, but I'm still showing up as Nedra. I'm showing up as a woman of integrity, a woman of faith, endeavoring to live an honorable, life, and wanting to just share and empower this, those that are in the room. So it's a vital part of my life. It is because there are things that I'm believing for, or I'm holding, I'm having, I live in faith for, as it relates to ministry, life, different areas, my children. And so it is the very core of my existence and how I see the world and how I see people. So faith, it's the foundation of who I am. And it enables me to do things that I thought that I would never be capable of doing. When I say absolutely, and even when you said doctor, now I have 2 earned degrees. I have a bachelor's and I have a master's. I was in May of what year is this? 24? So in 2022, maybe, I think it was 22. I got a call from a local Bible college, the dean of the local Bible college, and said that they had been, watching my life and watching my journey. I'm like, who? What? Where?
It's like
watching. Yes. And said that they wanted to honor me with a doctorate, and it's a doctorate in theology. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't earn that. So I felt kind of like, but I did accept it, talked to my husband about it. I did accept it because one of the things that when we were having the conferral ceremony and celebration, another dean said of the school that was, administrating the program, he was like, you may not have written your thesis, but your life has been the thesis. When I tell you the tears that just begin to well up I was like, that hit me in my gut. I was like, what? Oh my goodness. Cause I was just feeling like, cause I believe in, doing the work. And he said, you did the work. And we watched. I was like, but I what?
Greater compliment would you have gotten? What greater compliment is that?
Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, that faith is the foundation of who I am and how I exist and really how I show up in the world.
Yes.
So it's vitally important to me.
I remember you telling me a story about when you worked at our past employer, and the individual that you work for would ask you to pray with her before she went into meetings. That right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
And we are still in relationship today.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we are. It was more than just an assistant and an executive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was, yeah. There's a true a love there, admiration. I was like, I always told her that she was my shiro. I did because of, I mean, we know when you're in those roles, you see what they go through, you see what they experience, we see it.
Oh,
right?
we see
it
what
all.
can happen if you didn't have an executive like the one that you have.
Yeah, yeah. Because people don't leave jobs, they leave managers.
This is us putting our HR hat on real quick.
You know that. They're like,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
that just shows the power of when you say, yes, that is your foundation and that is who you are. I mean, to have someone reach out to you from a dean of a theological institution, reach out and say, you don't even need to write a paper because you've been writing your paper this whole time.
Mercy. I sure wrote enough papers for that master's degree. Lord have mercy. Woo! Was like good.
See, at the time you didn't know you were doing dual things, dual capacity. You didn't know that. See, you didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Exactly. Look how it paid off. But yes.
Yeah.
So we talked about purpose and how your purpose discovered you. We talked about faith and how your faith is your foundation. Now, how do you think faith plays a role in purpose?
I think it plays an important part because one, it being your foundation, that foundation of it's a absolute trust, reliance, and dependence upon God, right? And believing what his word says. And in order for you to show up in your purpose, the reason you were created and utilizing your gifts, your talents, your abilities, those soft skills, those hard skills, all of that, when you come to the realization, it impacts how you show up. It absolutely impacts because if you're like, listen, I've got the backing of heaven. Now, if I have the backing of heaven, how am I going to show up in this space? And it doesn't mean that, you go into a church service. It's just even how I show up in the world, how I treat people, how I talk to people, how I interact with people. It's not so much, you're, being a paid speaker. And I have a couple of engagements that I'm going to be speaking for later on in the year that I'll be traveling for. It is not about, oh, you have my speakers package and all. No, how am I from the time point that they contact me? What's my interaction? How am I, speaking to them, handling them? All of that matters. And so it's mattered how you represent yourself, how you represent even that's your organization, all of the above. And I believe it plays a critical role again, faith in purpose, because it enables me to show up. Oh my goodness, I can do this, number one. Yes, I've done my due diligence, whether it's, studying this area, this topic, I prepared my presentation, or if I'm speaking, my message for, if it's a women's retreat or what have you. So the confidence in knowing that, okay, I believe that God is going, to speak through me. He's going to empower me to be able to help and minister to, or if it's corporate, to help and help cultivate, help shine the light on, help them have an aha moment, whatever the areas are. So it plays a vital role. I know for me personally, it does. And how I show up, because it matters how you show up. Because if somebody hires you to do something, and you're like, you just I'm like, oh yeah, well, wait a minute, hold on. No, it's this, and it's like, no, this is not what we do. And it's like, who are you representing? Even yourself. Think about it. Because you can have hundreds of people in the room, they're like, they're not ready.
No,
they're not ready.
No.
No.
And sales isn't about what you're selling. Sales is actually about you. It's
okay.
You are selling yourself. The product will come, whatever it is selling, that will come. But first, they have to like you. That you're showing up. You are showing. Yourself. You're bringing yourself, and that's what people are going.
It's true. You
look at, latch on to. They're going, oh yeah, I like her. I like the way she shows up. I like the way she engages. I like the way she interacts. Like that's what people are attracted to first and foremost.
Yeah.
So
hello.
What you have to say.
It's true. They're like, yeah. Like what was that? I mean, we've had some of those experiences. You're like,
but you learn from them and you keep moving.
Yes, you keep moving. You eat the meat and throw away the bones. Hopefully there was some meat.
Yeah. Now I've been a little scampy. Okay. Can you, I mean, I think you stated earlier, like, what it feels like to be without hope. Can you share a recent experience that you went through that you felt like, this was a test? Baby Jesus? No. Hold up now. Take a step back.
Oh my goodness. I can remember. I am getting ready in a couple of weeks. We have this will be year 3. Our women's ministry host an empowerment encounter. And I can remember the first year that we did it. I didn't even charge. I brought in a speaker, very qualified speaker, had a worship leader, all of that. But when I tell you the room was almost empty, I had people there from, of course, our ministry that were there to help and to execute. But I honestly felt like I failed God.
Why?
I was like, because I was focused on who wasn't in the room. You're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be filled. And the thing about it is, there were several people that had registered. They did. I had the registration sheet, but they didn't show up. And I learned a huge lesson. When, as a woman of faith, when I really feel that God has spoken to me to execute on something, he taught me a valuable lesson. Are you focused on the end results, or are you focused on what I told you to do? It was a huge lesson for me, because I was like, this was a huge, I was in tears. I was like, I was like, I failed. I failed. I'm a failure. Obviously not supposed to be doing this. And then doubt began to seek, like, girl, you're not supposed to do this. So just go to other people's and support them. I'm telling you, this was the negative self-talk that was going on in my head. And so I had to, I had to snatch my own self. Yes. Snatch my own self. After the first night, I got home and we had broadcasted. So it was live streaming from our ministry's page. And there were several texts that I received saying, oh my goodness, that was tailor-made for me. I just felt like it was me and God in the room. You don't know how that. And then I got another one. And that was like, I want you to come and minister for my da-da-da-da. And then I got another one. I was like, forgive me, God. Obedience is paramount
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to know. And it's not that God is playing mind games and tricks. He will absolutely test your heart to let you know, yeah, that's boo-boo. That's what's in it. So what you gonna do about it? And for me, that was a test because I really felt, Harli, I was like, I had failed and was thinking, oh girl, this is not for you. You thought you were supposed to empower women. You thought you were supposed to gather women. You thought, but you thought wrong. I'm telling you, that was the scenario. And so for me, I had to realign, I had to reroute, I had to just shut some things down and say, one, God forgive me for looking at the wrong area and the wrong focus.
Right.
But honestly, I was just like, girl, you have failed. Because this obviously is not what you're supposed to be doing. Not what you're supposed to do. And but it's all that the limiting belief really began to arrest me. And that's twofold, because that limiting belief, it begins to arrest what you already know how to do. And you know what I mean? Or what you already know how to do, right? And then you're like, so that's one, you already know how to do it. You've done it before and you've done it in excellence.
Now
But that
you're doubting yourself. You're like, well, I don't know if I can do this.
You're knocking yourself out. So the stuff that you already know how to do is now arrested. But then the things that you are reaching towards, that's also like, girl, you know, you can't do that. Or guy, you know, you can't do that. So that limiting belief it's a monster.
It is.
And so I had to reroute some things. I had to realign and say, listen, girl, this is what you are supposed to be doing. Lesson learned. So make sure, just don't look at the numbers or what have you.
Yeah.
Right. Don't look at that. But did you obey what you really feel God spoke to you? That's the win right there. At the end of the day, that is the win. So then the next year, oh my goodness, it was absolutely amazing. Way more. And then we're getting to do it in another couple of weeks. So my thing is like, God, I trust you. I'm being obedient and I'll leave it in your hands. But that right there, he was like, ooh. I was like, I'm not supposed to do this. I thought I was. I'm serious. That's exactly how I was. Exactly. And I was like, ooh.
And could you imagine if the outcome had been different? Could you imagine if you had listened to that doubt and that limited?
I wouldn't have done it again, ever. I wouldn't have done it again, ever.
But then how would that impact how you're showing up now and where you are now?
Exactly. It would impact, because one, I wouldn't even be doing anything else. So it would absolutely impact, because I believe when we're in the earth to release the intelligence, the gift, the amazingness of who we are, that inherent place of excellence that I believe is within all of us. And some of us have to kind of, dig for it a little bit, because situations and circumstances, right, has just kind of crowded it and crushed it down. Life and that's where we come in, helping people, coach them, and mentoring them to places of standing in their excellence. So, and when you show up in the place that I really feel that God has purpose for you, then you're helping others. So when you don't show up, that means you're not showing up for those other people, and you don't realize it, because we're not just here to be wonderful and glorious. We're connected. We are literally connected. Who would have thought that a girl from Brooklyn would be helping and mentoring women
from Cambodia,
in Far East Asia? You couldn't have told me that. You could not have told me that at 8 years old, Harli. I promise you, you just couldn't have.
Oh, look at that.
You couldn't have. Or even in Ghana or Kenya. It's just Nigeria. I met a lady from when I was doing my Tuesday broadcast. She just popped on, and we've been following one another. And it's just, when you don't show up, you don't step into the visibility that I believe that you should be. And that's how you're able to connect with others.
Yes.
And yes, because I believe in purpose partners. I believe in purpose pushers and helping you to, birth that idea, that business, organization, team, group, all of that. So, we're connected. We are absolutely connected.
We are. I mean, we're made for this. We are made to connect with one another. That's the reason why we were made.
Yeah, it's true. That's the word. We were
Mhm.
absolutely made for this.
Yes, we are. Wow. So this is crazy because then I was gonna ask you how does your faith impact the way you show up? But you just went right into that. You just went right into it.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, but yes, I mean, like you said, if you don't show up, then you don't know, by you not showing up, what seed could have been planted just for the sheer thought of you showing up. And then that seed would have planted in somebody else. And
it's
they
true.
just don't know. Like it has major impact.
Yes.
And that's for you not the one person not showing up.
One person.
That could impact people across the world.
It's true.
People in your community. That can impact your family. That can impact.
Yes.
That could impact.
So true.
You know, like we both have kids, and I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm also thinking, I know they're watching me. I feel like it, and they seem like it, but I know that they're watching.
Yes.
And I know that every time they look at me, there's a seed. There's something.
Yes. You're influencing. It's the power of your influence. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so imagine, like I'm doing that day in and day out, right? And so I have that impact. Now, one conversation, you go outside and you have one conversation with your neighbor. That neighbor is going to. You know that neighbor was getting ready to do.
Yes.
No. And so that one conversation that you have with that neighbor could absolutely, how you talked earlier about path A and path B.
You don't know. True.
So that's the power of showing up, and like you said, obedience.
Very, very true. It's so true. It's and if we have the ability to make sure that we realize that we influence is a force, but it's not forceful. So when you just kind of show up in your authenticity, you're not banging over someone's head. You're showing up earnest. You're showing up with, with your gift, having, whatever it is on lockdown, all of whatever it is that you're presenting, or just being yourself. You may not be at a presentation. It's a grocery store encounter. Okay. It's wherever. That wherever we go, we are influencing somebody. We are either shaping or changing, impacting their behavior, their knowledge, their, maybe even opinion.
Somebody's watching. Somebody is watching.
They are.
Even if you don't know, somebody's watching.
This is true.
So, was there a time where you felt like maybe you struggled with your faith?
Yeah, I think when my mom, who was a minister as well, when she got cancer, and I had to, but I ended up taking care of her, becoming her caregiver, and how I watched her struggle. And I was like, this is just not fair. She served all these people all of these years. And how is it that now she is in this space? So I don't want to say that I did not believe God, but I struggled with what I saw her suffer through. And so it impacted. I was like, hello, Mr. God.
Not Mr.
I probably didn't say that, just, but I'm sure I didn't. I was like, what is this? What is this? I don't like this. The struggle that I see her in, and moving her in with me, and I had to take her back and forth to the doctor appointments. I ended up having to become Nancy Nurse Nedra. Yeah, they showed me how to, clear a port and give her, injections. It was like, well, we're going to show you how to do it. I was like, I don't know how to do that. I don't. That's what I told them I did. I was like, no, I'm not a nurse. I don't do those things. But I had to end up doing it, and like 3 times a week. And Harli, it was a lot. It was a lot emotionally. It was just physically draining. It was mentally draining. And I will honestly say it was spiritually draining, because I'm praying, Lord, help me so I can help her. Because I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
So I would honestly say that it was, and I never will say I stopped believing in God, but that it was just, I was drained, and I was like, enough is enough. Please just stop, heal her. And I honestly got to the point, Harli, I never would thought that I would say this about my mother, because I saw her suffer so much. I was like, Lord, she'd be better off with you, because of the constant suffering.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, did you just think that?
Right.
I did. I felt so horrible. But it was even worse to see the struggle that I saw her go through, with having to get the chemo. And the chemo is it's horrible drugs that's supposed to get rid of, and it does in some cases, but 20 other things it impacts,
yes,
to the degree.
Yes.
I mean, her first chemo session, she ended up in the hospital with double pneumonia, having to receive blood transfusion. I was like, this is too much. And it just was very debilitating. And towards the end, she ended up having to have radiations, because, tumors started forming on her back. And then she ended up, losing the ability to walk. I was like, listen, this is too much. And so you're seeing this vibrant woman. My personalities were like hers. Rosalind was a fighter. She was a go-getter. And to someone who now you are to the point where someone has to watch you. Yeah. And it was a lot to see in a short amount of time. I mean, like we found out May, like around Mother's Day, and the next December she was gone. So it was like bam, bam, it was a lot.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, it was a gut punch. It was just a lot. And I was like, So that would have been a time to like, Lord, help me, because I don't like you right now. I don't like you.
And it's okay.
I trust you, but I don't like this. I don't like what's going on. My mom it was very difficult to watch that, because
you need to hear that.
Live it.
You need to hear that it's okay for you to feel that. And I actually had this conversation with someone else, and she says, I talk to God like he's my man.
Oh, wait a minute now.
So he's going to know everything, that he already knows how I feel.
He does. And I'm going to tell him, I don't like this, God. I don't like this.
Exactly.
I don't like this. You're going to have to help me, because I don't like this. I don't like it.
Exactly. So, but this is where the relationship comes in. If you're in a relationship with someone, then you should be able to tell them when you don't like it. You should be able to tell them when you like it. You should be able to tell them, hey, I'm not happy with you right now. What's going on? What is this? What is this? You're in a relationship. You're supposed to tell each other everything.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. But that
a lot.
That was something that, wow, it took you as a special person. God planted you there to be and to walk how I can't possibly imagine how tough that must have been. But he planted you, especially at that moment, at that time.
Oh, I believe that. Hindsight is always 20/20. You can see clearer after the rain is gone, right? That all of those statements is absolutely true. Absolutely true. And so, yeah, it was a stretching process for me, all of the above.
Yeah. And I have one last question, and then go into our off the dome.
Okay.
So, how does your faith allow you to walk in your purpose?
Even, just from previous answers, it's still, it allows me, because one, I realized that what I am walking in was on the heart and mind of God. when he created me. And so it lets me know that, number one, that I was born with purpose, called with distinction, right? And called with a promise that you're not here just because, and oh girl, you just, filling up in space and air. No, I honestly was meticulously designed, my personality, the gifts that he gave me. It's on purpose. And so you're like, that, yes. And I think it from a standpoint of where he trusts me in this space, and also has entrusted me with sharing what he's given to me with the world. So it's a powerful combination. For me, I can't do one without the other. My faith grounds me, but at the same time, I realized that, like you said, I was born for this. It may sound, I'm like, oh girl, here you go with the cliche sayings, but no, really think about it. Your gifts, your talents, and the abilities and all that's within you, it's on purpose.
It's on purpose, and nobody else has them like you.
Nobody. It's your je ne sais quoi. It's it really is. It's you. Every snowflake has a unique design. There are no two that are alike. They may look similar, but similar is not the same.
Exactly.
It's not. Exactly. And so when you think about it from that perspective, it causes you to like, oh, okay, get your shoulders up a little bit.
Collar, okay?
Yeah.
Pop it.
Yes, for me, it gives me like, you know what? I was intentional. I wasn't an accident. I wasn't a mishap. I have been uniquely fashioned and formed and gifted to show up in the earth. And I believe that, and I believe as a coach, I believe that you understand this as well, is that there's something within the earth that I have the ability to solve, that I have the ability to speak life to, that I have the ability to help. I have the ability to change the course and directory of a said thing, whether it's a group of people, whether it's one person, an organization, a company, whatever. I am meant to do that. And when you understand that, you show up differently. Yeah. So for me, the faith and purpose, my goodness, it is the foundation for me. And it helps me to know the uniqueness of who I am, because we don't have secondhand, what do you call those? We are
second, like hand me down. That's
not us. We're not trying to be off brand of anything, right? When you show up in unique, and when you are unique, when you show up, we are unique, not when you are, but you are unique. So in understanding that uniqueness, it helps you to understand really your power, your ability to do and to be. Yes. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I think. No, I'm just kidding.
You say I think. I might have one. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. We are uniquely made. We are called by name.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. One of the things when I was getting started into podcasting and doing this, for specific seconds, it was like, well, you're doing it, everybody else is doing it, But no, even if it's like
they're not.
Everybody else is doing it. Somebody needs to hear it from me.
Yes, absolutely.
But they need to hear, it could be that same message, but once they hear it from me,
right,
it's different.
Yeah, it is.
It's
the uniqueness. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you think that your message is the same as somebody else, what you do is the same as somebody else.
It's not. There are so many thousands of coaches and people who have started coaching businesses, and even mentors, speakers, preachers for that. But what it is that there is a unique imprint, a unique design that your voice, no one experiences the exact same thing in their life. So your life experiences, whatever you've, come through, triumphed over, they're going to be different from someone else's. So, and that is the thing that you help people. Well, everybody's doing this, people hosting. Listen, you're not everybody.
No.
Listen, because think about makeup. I wear makeup. There's Maybelline, Lancome, Rihanna, Bobbi Brown, L'Oreal, ma'am, and they're not out of business.
Nope, they're not. Everybody has a piece of their pie.
Burgeoning, honey, and thriving. All those brands that Ultima carries, Sephora, honey.
Matter of fact, it's overwhelming about the options you have. You're like,
yes.
And
so yes, yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely.
True. And they hadn't stopped them.
You sure don't. And they're gonna keep going as long as they keep going. But we are here now in the part of our program or episode where it is called Off the Dome segment. And with this segment, the way it's gonna go is I'm holding 6 cards in my hand. You call out a number from 1 to 6, and I will read the questions on said card. You'll be able to answer off the dome.
Off the dome. All right.
So, 6 cards. Here we go.
So I just call out the number?
Yes. Well, why do I have to? Okay. Yep. Okay.
I'll take number 3.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Wait, you're cracking up too much. I think I'm a little scared.
I always say this, like absolutely every single episode I've said this. I said, the question picked you.
The question picked?
It picked you. Oh, this is gonna be real good. Spicy. Okay, so what would your Sasha Fierce alter ego name be and why?
I would say Strawberry Delight. Because I love strawberries.
Oh my, that's it. We're done. Like Strawberry Delight. That is awesome. It is so awesome. Okay. Dr. Nedra Buckmire / Strawberry Delight. I think you need to put that on your business.
Oh my goodness, that is tickling me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Nedra, for coming on and really being open about sharing your passion and how you are just bringing people into the light, into your life, just by the way you're showing up, by really taking this purpose that God has given you and taking it to heart and saying, okay, this is my mission. This is what I'm going to do. And I love every single time you open your mouth, every single time you speak. We feel that passion. We feel that authenticity. We feel that purpose. That's what you're doing. You're making people you're bringing people into your purpose, and you're making them feel like they are there and they are safe. And I just want to thank you for everything that you are doing, how you are touching people, even on the global scale, going to Cambodia and Kenya and just the ministry that you're building, the legacy that you
Yes.
To say thank you. And thank you for being my friend for so long and
I know.
So
yes, thank you for having me. And I'm excited about your podcast and what it's doing and how it's evolving. So congratulations to you. Congratulations. And whatever other place of expansion that you're looking to do in your coaching business, listen, just go for it, honey.
you know,
Go for it.
you said something to me the first time, and I don't know if you remember it, but you said to me after we were done, and I'm not sure, I believe that I might have been off camera, and you
Mm-hmm.
were like, oh, you think this is it?
Oh,
You absolutely told me
wow.
we're done. And I'm sitting here like, what is she talking about? Like, and this is, when I was recording it, my little,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no, something is,
Wow.
and I want to say that was even before I got into coaching. So it was
Mm,
for the purpose
yeah.
of thing. And so you spoke that into,
Yes. The thing is, it's taking that first step.
mhm.
Just like I told you years ago when the women were coming to me, how they purpose found me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And stepped in, girl, and have been stepping ever since
Into it. Yes.
into different areas it's like, oh my goodness. But if I had not taken that step and actually believed in myself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that I would be where I am today.
Exactly.
Doing what I'm doing. So keep going, keep going, keep
I am
going.
one step at a time.
Yes, one step at a time.
One step at a time. Well, thank you, insiders. That is our episode for today on our series, third season of Purpose and Faith. And just stay tuned. More to come. We're going to keep evolving, and we're going to take it one step at a time, like Nedra said. And you know what I always say? There's purpose in your story.
I hope you enjoyed our show today. Keep the conversation going. Leave a comment and share with your friends. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, there's purpose in your story.